The time has come. Today's the day. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. And you know what? It's about time. Because I've been talking about this LeBron James Prism card, 130. It seems like forever. Now, it's probably just been a few weeks, but it really seems like I've been talking about this forever. And there's good reason why it probably seems like that. Because out of all this talk I've done, guess what? I've done nothing about it myself. That's right. I've purchased zero, and I don't know why. The more I hear myself talk about it, the more I believe it, the more hype I believe. Now, is this just hype? Do you believe this? Am I making sense? Let me make the point real fast before you comment. Give me 1 second, real fast. Now, in the physical world, all you physical card collectors, you can go back decades with LeBron James. You can go back to his rookie card. You can go back to the early Cleveland Cavaliers days. And then you have another 20 years after that to find unique, cool sports cards that are worth collecting, that you want, other collectors want, that will stand the test of time 5 to 10 years from now. But guess what? Us collectors in the blockchain, we only have a few years to go off of. We have about 4 years. All of his older Lakers seasons is all we have to go on. So when a card comes along like this, that has eye appeal, it caught the attention of all collectors when the card came out, and it definitely has uniqueness. That's something that a collector in the blockchain can really hold on to, because we don't have the luxury of collecting his rookie cards or any subset in the past 2 decades plus that can resonate with you or with other collectors. So I think, now tell me if you think I'm wrong. I think that 5 to 10 years from now, this is the sports card that everyone is going to come back to for LeBron James on the blockchain. Now, I think in the physical world too, it's going to be a very powerful card that resonates for years and years to come. In 10 years, you're going to go to a sports card show and you're going to see one of these variations sitting in the case, and it's going to jump out at you. You're going to know exactly what that card is and what it's all about. I think even more so on the blockchain. Now, personally speaking, I counted up how many variations and how many total NFTs there are, because that, it kind of matters. I wanted to see, I always see the relationship between the physical world and the digital world. So there are 17 variations of this LeBron James card on the blockchain. I don't know how many there are in the physical world. I think there's more. I don't know. What I do know is that there are 1,328 of these minted on the blockchain. So 1,328 total. So I went back on eBay sold listings, and I went back 45 days, and I think 1,200 exactly of these cards in the physical world have been sold on eBay in the last 45 days. So 1,200. So I don't know if they're going to have other crafting events where they come out with, different more variations of this particular LeBron card. That's possible. I don't know. But at the end of the day, the scarcity of this, I think, will also stand the test of time. I mean, if you just the more collectors that come onto the blockchain that want to collect LeBron James, they're going to, I think, realize too that this is the card that you want in your collection if you're collecting LeBron James. Does this make sense? Is it just hype? Am I hyping my own self up and everyone's watching thinking that doesn't apply? I really think that this is, where you want to be with LeBron James. And again, to be honest, I don't collect a lot of LeBron James. So when I do and find the uniqueness, because that's really what I go for, uniqueness and eye appeal, I'm all about it. So today's the day. I have already purchased a few. I'll go over them right now. I'm going to put an offer in on some more higher end ones as well. So I'm going to show you the first one that I purchased, which is here we are. It's the blue seismic. Now, this is the variation out of 207. Now, real fast with this particular NFT, what I always preach, at least with my own collecting style, is two of the big ones that I look for are I always want the sports card to have uniqueness, and it doesn't have to, but it really helps to have eye appeal. And when you're dealing with 17 variations, you're going to have a variation that you look at that just looks beautiful. You're just like, that is a beautiful piece of art. And then you're going to see some that you look at where you're just like, mm. So I like having the eye appeal with the uniqueness whenever possible. And the price point of this was a great price point to at least have that, to know that I have this in my collection. I have both. It would, that kind of checks all the boxes for me with this particular card. So the floor price was 15. I thought based on recent sales, the floor would probably be around 10. But I wanted to see what the floor was first. So sometimes I always offer a little below and see if maybe someone negotiates with me, like drops the 15 down to 14, then I go up to 10, then they go down to 12, do the little dance where you meet in the middle. So I offered $8, and lo and behold, an hour later, someone took up the offer and sold it to me for $8. So again, I want to see if that was a floor, or because again, I was willing to pay upwards of like 10. I thought that was the realistic floor price. So I offered $8 again, waited a little bit longer, and it was accepted. So I got 2. So now what do I do? Well, I've done this before. I did it a third time. I wanted to see, did I get these 2 at the new floor, or is it more up to, $10, or can I get another one at 8? Didn't really expect to get the third at 8. It took overnight, and I think probably right before expiration, somebody probably was like, okay, fine, I'll sell it to you for $8. And I got the other one for $8. So I have 3 of them for $8. I don't think I got a ridiculously good price. I think the floor is probably around 10. I guess the floor now is 8 when people see that. But I think as time goes on, it will show that this is more than an $8 sports card. It just is. It's has everything you want if you're collecting LeBron James, one of the, or if you say the greatest basketball player of all time. And so you can't argue with this. And a lot of times too, when you deal with the higher, not that 207 is high, but when you're dealing with the higher serial numbers, you have to wait for the cards to leave the hands of the people who ripped them in packs to find out really where that baseline floor is. You're going to see fluctuations all the time like this because lo and behold, even though I think that this is a card you want in your collection, a lot of people ripping packs are looking for, let's say, the Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They could care less about LeBron James. He's just in the way of them trying to get their Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So if they can sell this and put it towards buying that or opening more packs or what have you, they'll do it, albeit lose a little money than if they waited another month or 2 to get an extra few dollars. So it all makes sense. Everyone's happy. I'm ecstatic that I'm getting involved with this particular sports card. And it leads me to one where I ramped it up. I said, you know what? This is awesome. I like this. Let's get more. I want more. I want rare. I want more unique. I want something. And I found it. Let's go. I found it in the blue shimmer out of 35. Yes, out of 35. The previous one was out of 207, I think I said. This is out of 35. I really didn't expect when shopping for these that I was going to be able to get in on such a rare variation of this particular sports card. I really didn't. I thought I was going to be playing in the around maybe at the most scarce, the 100 card range. So of 35, and also too, I'm going to say it again, it passes my eye test. Not if this was a green, I don't even know what the other one, green pulsar, I think is, I would look at it and be like, it's at 35. It has a uniqueness. I like the scarcity, but it's green. I never pictured wanting a green LeBron James card. I don't know if I would have offered on it, but with the blue shimmer, with the Lakers uniform and everything about this particular card, it's not as good as gold. Nothing will be with the Laker jersey, but you know what? It was incredible. And I saw a floor price of 145. I really thought I had come across this at like $100 a couple weeks ago, and I didn't buy it then, and I was kind of kicking myself when I saw 145. I still thought with recent sales that 145 was the floor. At least I wanted to test. Floors move. It could be 145. I don't know. But I thought, you know what? I'm going to test it out. So I put an offer in of 85. You could kind of feel like that just wasn't enough. I think there was a sale for 82, but it seemed like kind of an outlier. Everything else was trading around the $100 range. And so I moved it up to 95. I thought this was a $100 NFT. I was comfortable with that. I don't know if I would have gone over 100. right away. Maybe I would have waited a week to think about it. So I went up to $95, and lo and behold, I don't think it took too long. It probably took half the day. I usually set my time limits for a full day. It got filled at $95 out of 35. So I'm ecstatic. Like I'm glad I came around to shop and collect some of these particular cards, and I think I'm going to continue to do it. I think I'm going to be checking these out routinely to see if I want to add more. Not necessarily more blue shimmers unless I see something, but maybe another subset. Oh, I have one in mind. Let's go check it out right now. This is, yes, the white sparkle. We've come right around to it. This is, if you've watched my videos, these are the sets that I put in my PC that I look for the most. And I have a surprise. When I was looking for this, I got a notification on my phone of something that I'm going to show you after this. A little surprise that I think goes perfectly to wrap up this video. That's coming next. But first things first, I want to put an offer in on this LeBron James white sparkle. I don't know if right now is the best time to do it, but I feel like I'm in the mood, which is not always the best. Sometimes you have to walk away, but I feel like I'm going to go ahead and put an offer on this white sparkle now, because if I think that this is that important of a LeBron card and the white sparkles are my PCs, I put them away and forget about them, then you know what? Maybe get it now and then play around with the other subsets and see, if I can do something with those in the next year or two. I don't know. These are out of 17. The NFLs, I think, are out of 9. And my WNBA Caitlin Clark white sparkles out of 8. So, out of 17 means they're not as expensive. I'm not necessarily against that. Out of 17 is still great. So the floor price is $600. The recent sales, there's one for $550. Before that, $223, which I think was probably an outlier. Before that, you saw $350, $350, $500. If I was going to test, I would. The floor, I would say, is probably in the $450 range to be realistic. Only 5 of these sports card NFTs have exchanged hands. I'm not counting the 1 or the 17 of 17 because those are going to sell for numbers I'm not interested in. So 5 out of basically 15 left. So a third of them have only exchanged hands. So there's 10 in the hands of collectors that ripped them in packs that you don't know if they even care about them that much. They may be holding them just to see, well, are these going to continue to shoot up? Okay, they're not. There's kind of like a plateau. Okay, I'll sell it. I bet you this one that sold for $223, I bet you it was a collector who just kind of had about a max week or two in them to wait to see how high or not these would go. And then they just want to be done with it and move on to whatever they're collecting next or whatever they were really after to begin with, like I said before. So you don't know what the floor is. It could be 223 again. Like, you don't know. Now, the only reason I say no is because there's an offer standing for $340 that no one's accepted. Now, will they? There's still 9 hours left on this offer. So, people could be waiting till the last minute to be like, okay, I'll sell it. Or they looking for something else to put the money into. Like, does it make sense to sell it now? So $340. So I'm going to go ahead and put an offer in for, let's do $375 for 1 day. Okay, offers in, $375 for 1 day for this white sparkle LeBron James. I'll let you know what happens, but now on to the surprise that just came through when we were doing this video. It's kind of cool, and it does relate to this. Let's go check it out now. It's Bronny James. It's Bronny James. I never thought, no disrespect to Bronny, I never thought it in a million years I would own a Bronny James rookie card, let alone a white sparkle, simply for the reason they were just hot. They were too hot. I mean, his rookie cards came out and they were scorching. Like, I just couldn't get near them. So the fact that I got a white sparkle, and more importantly, if you see the floor price, it's $35. I mean, these things have fallen, I feel like, significantly, right? Like, I haven't really been tracking Bronny, but I feel like when they first came out compared to where they are now, I mean, it almost is, I don't want to say it doesn't matter how he plays in the future. I'm not going to compare this to a Jose Canseco, Ozzie Canseco situation, because if you know the Ozzie Canseco card I'm talking about, you know that card. And you don't even know what Ozzie Canseco did in the majors. But still, to this day, if you saw that card and you look at it and be like, oh, $5, I got $5, I'll take an Ozzie Canseco. At this point with Bronny James, even though he's very talented, the sky's the limit for this kid. Like, he got thrusted into a scenario that no young kid ever has to get thrusted into. Like, I couldn't even imagine what it was like playing for the Lakers last year with your father on the team, who's one of the most polarizing athletes on earth. I mean, talk about a hard time. So I'm not discrediting this kid at all. I think he handled himself incredibly under ridiculous circumstances. So I hope he becomes a stud. I hope he gets the chance, he deserves. But I saw a floor price of 35 and I'm like, am I really going to buy a Bronny James right now? Because I was searching white sparkles and I'm like, this is crazy. So I put an offer in of 15, not to be disrespectful, but just because I didn't really, I don't know what these are going for. I don't know what the floor is. They haven't been sold recently. I never thought I'd really own one. I didn't necessarily want one. But when we were talking about LeBron, and I was literally searching for white sparkles this morning, knowing the LeBron video was coming, and someone accepted the offer for $15. So that's pretty cool, right? I mean, that Bronny white sparkle. I don't have the LeBron yet. Hopefully, I get the father to match the son when it comes to the white sparkle in the 2024 Prism set. But for $15, again, that's just, it passes two things. It's unique. It's his rookie. It's one of those cards and players like, I hope Shador Sanders pans out too, but you're just going to remember these certain moments in time with these players. So the uniqueness regardless is there. The eye appeal, white sparkle's my set. So $15 might be the cheapest white sparkle I ever get of any player. So the fact that it's Bronny is even better. So you know what, Bronny? You have a hell of a season next year. Good luck to you, kid. And LeBron, hopefully you end your career in the way that Kobe did at the end of his, because that was absolutely incredible. I hope you have a great next season. And I'm perfectly happy with what I have so far with the father-son duo. And I'll try to be collecting more of the LeBron cards. And I really would like to see if you think that I'm just talking. Am I in my own head? Is this all just hype, or am I making any sense? And you think that this card, specifically on the blockchain, is going to have longevity too. So let me know. Please like, please subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.